Hello everybody. I wanted to first of all thank everyone for the mass amounts of support that I got for Dragon Age Origins. I am so looking forward to getting back into the story again. The Dwarven Commoner doesn't quite match what I want to do with Rattler, but I think you'll see that it'll start to smooth itself out a little bit as the game goes on and we can start to develop that real Rattler personality. Unfortunately, the game doesn't take sarcasm the same way I do, but we'll make it work, folks, and I think it'll be a great story. I plan on throwing in some fun installments in between there, some backstory stuff of Rattler, so in between episodes. And actually, that's why I wanted to come to any of you. If any of you decide that you ever want to draw a piece of fan art or something like that, this isn't really a request for it, but if you feel like you want to, I'd love to use pictures like that for basically fleshing out the character of Rattler. I think it's a really neat way to get the community involved. And one thing I've always really tried to do is give myself a face in the Let's Plays. I always like to see if I can get people to know who I am. So I wanted to basically do a little face behind the Let's Play of, I guess, myself and storylines. One of my earliest memories from being a child was loving stories. I was obsessed with books. I was obsessed with stories. My sisters would read to me Berenstain Bears and Dr. Seuss for hours and hours and hours on end, and I loved it. My mom would tell me stories. I remember going back 3, 4 years old, she would tell me the stories of Prince Kevin and the Princesses of Yak, which were my sisters, and it was cute. It was funny. Looking back on it, I get a real chuckle out of it, and we still bring it up every now and then. I had the Lego Knights, and I loved medieval. I loved knights and archers from a very young age, and I don't really know why, to be honest with you. I just kind of did. I love that type of storyline. Maybe it was because of the Legos. That was the real sets that I got into because I liked building the castles and everything. So my mom would even paint some of the horses and such so that they would match the stories, and so I would have my little Lego characters that were, the characters of the story, and I remember trying to, write my own stories then of it, and it really perfectly led into video games for me. I got some of my greatest love in gaming came from storylines and great stories. Excuse me, my nose is killing me. Which I always found to be so cool because it was never just the story told, right? It was what you did outside of the story. I remember, any of these games, Mario games or Star Wars games or whatever I had, I would always do Legos and Connects and my action figures, and I would always try and tell my own stories with it. And that was, a big thing with my friends and I. We would always try and tell these cool stories. Then came the Super Nintendo. I really didn't get into the major Square Enix games until, I'd say, middle school. I guess Squaresoft game really was middle school and into high school. That's where it just took off for me of stories. I would become obsessed with some of these games of just loving the storylines. And I find it really interesting with the way that stories have come. I'm not really a big fan, I guess, of where stories are going today. And it seems to be more about, and again, I could be completely wrong, and there are exceptions. So please don't, think of this as the constant, that there is no exception to it. There certainly are. But it seems to be a streamline. Let's make a really flashy, epic cutscene, because a cutscene is worth a whole fleshed out backstory. If you can show a cool scene of a guy killing a dragon, you're sold. And I think what we're kind of losing in storylines today really is something that just grips you. The only way I could explain it to you is if you are a gamer. If you've ever had a storyline that just pulled you in. I've played a few of them that, any storyline that really can emotionally impact you is art. To the Moon definitely choked me up. It was beautiful. The music in it, the story of it, the plot, the characters. It didn't have any fleshed out super cutscenes. The Walking Dead Graphically, not all that impressive. It was a cool style, but The Walking Dead damn near brought me to tears. You know, it's those types of things that, and it's a shorter game. I feel though that we're really losing the epic story, and that being the story that you can invest hours and hours and hours into, and really care about the characters. I will always go back to, is probably my best example, is Baldur's Gate 2. Baldur's Gate 2 was one of those games, and anyone who's played through and beaten it, I say 2 more than 1 because I played 2 more than 1. I only really played through 1, I think, twice, but 2 I played through so many times I've lost count. Baldur's Gate 2 was one of those games that you play through the game, and you play through a second time, and oh my god, there was 50 quests I didn't even know existed. I randomly talked to some beggar, and it opened up a 3-hour-long quest. Those types of things, I think, are what's lost today. And where I feel that's really lost, it took me a long time to narrow it down. It took me a long time to really flesh out, I think, what I think the root cause of the issue is. There's no mystery anymore. Uh-oh. My webcam may have died. Webcam? Hello?